So hello and welcome. It is September 25th or 26th for Sandrine. And I think Michelle is traveling right now, living the high life.
I know, did you see the pictures on
Yes.
Instagram? Beautiful.
So today I thought we would do something a little different. I'm wanting to experiment a little bit with combining yoga and meditation, combining connective tissue practices and meditation, and doing that in a live setting. So I played around with it a bit this morning. That worked well. But also in terms of our theme for this month, which is our true self, before we move into our theme of community next month, one of the things that I've been reflecting on over the last little while is that it's really in my practice. You know, there are the teachings, yes, our contemplation, yes. But in my practice, I have the deepest insights about myself. And we're spending a lot of time in these classes, less so in this class, actually. We actually tend to get to practice fairly quickly in this class. But actually, in the last few weeks, we've been spending a lot of time with teachings and contemplation and not getting to practice as quickly. And so I thought, let's turn that on its head this week and get right into practice more quickly so that we can see what we discover about ourselves in practice. Because what I'm finding is that in practice, all those habitual responses that come up in practice, all those ways that I experience departing, all the ways that I want to escape are the same things that show up in my everyday life, except for they're under a magnifying glass. So they're a lot more clear in my practice. In that way, I have a lot more insight about myself in a practice setting. Hi, Betsy. So I thought it would be useful to get right into practice. And then even this kind of idea of just noticing, even in this moment, what it feels like to have somebody throw you a little bit of a curveball and say, okay, we're going to be doing something different. That will show you something about yourself too, right? Like actually, like for Allison's like, well, I'm all over that. I actually know that because so that actually says something about Allison, right? Is that she's, quite prepared and she knows, and she, that's kind of, that says something about you and your personality and the way you approach things. And then, if you come here and you're like, well, I don't have the props, it's not feasible for me, or, just notice your kind of response to it. And Betsy's showing up and saying, what's happening?
I'll catch up.
So there's another response to it, right? This kind of go with the flow thing. So that's all very interesting, and it says something about you. So it's interesting to observe these things because it's all part of it as well. It's all part of it as well. So we're going to start with doing, I'll mute everybody because the dogs are very excited about this change in routine today.
Murphy won't shut up.
That's okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the soft squash ball routine for our feet. We're going to do soft foam roller for our back, and then some for our hands, and then upper hydration for back and glutes. Then we're going to come into 10 points, and we're going to do some seated meditation as well. And so basically, really what you need is you're lying down, sit up, you're sitting up, sit up. You have the foam roller close by and the soft squash ball close by. If not, it's really not a big deal, because I can tell you, while we're doing feet, you can massage your feet. When we're doing hands, you can massage your hands. When we're doing stuff for our spine, you can do some cat-cow stuff, and I can talk you through kind of what we can do as alternatives. Okay? So we're going to start we're going to start standing up. I want you to have bare feet for the first part. And you can, keep your socks close by, because when we come into meditation, well, you'll know what to do for the temperature in your place, but you might want to have a blanket close by when you lie down, depending on what the temperature where you are. So you just, take care of yourself. Keep yourself at the temperature you need where you are in the world. There's such varying temperatures for all of us. Because have that squash ball close by. We're just going to start by doing a check-in. So standing and closing your eyes and feeling into your body. Feeling your body from the inside, feeling your feet, your ankles, your knees, your hips, your low back, your spine, your shoulders, your head. Just taking stock of how your body feels right now. Noticing how it feels left to right. Noticing if anything stands out about your physical experience right now. Okay. And then if you don't have a squash ball, what you're going to do is sit down and you're going to massage your feet and just kind of work with that connective tissue, work it out, massage it. And you can kind of generally work on the areas of the parts of the feet that I'm talking everybody else through. But if you do have a soft squash ball, we'll start in the center of the foot with the squash ball. And if you don't, you're going to massage the arch of your foot. So we'll start, as we always do, with the squash ball in the center of your foot, and you do that kind of interpretive dance where you're moving through all the joints of your body. So moving through your hip joints, your knee joints, your ankle joints, your elbows, your wrists, and your shoulders. And then you step back from the squash ball and you step forward onto it behind the big toe, behind the second toe, behind the middle toe. So now you're massaging behind your toes. Your fourth toe and your baby toe. And then you're going to step on the massage ball just behind in the inside of the arch, just behind the ball of your foot. And then just in front of your heel on that instep. And then on the outside of your foot in the middle of the arch. And then stepping at the front of the center of the heel, and then you wiggle your heel back and forth. And then you move your heel back and forth, taking the ball to the back of your heel and back to the front of your heel. And then we're going to do those straight lines from your heel up to the big toe, second toe, third toe. So you're fanning all the way up to each toe. And we'll do that 3 times to each toe. And then you go from the big toe and arc it down to the baby toe. So you're massaging the ball of your foot now. And then you're going to scribble all over the bottom of your foot. Keep breathing. Then you're going to take the ball along the top of your foot, from the roof of your foot down each web of your foot and you use your hand for that. Okay, and then we're going to come up and we're just going to check in before we do the other side. So you can hold on to the ball, close your eyes, and feel the difference between the right and your left side. So just notice if there's more ease between your right and your left side. Notice if the right side just feels maybe a little bit more whole and integrated. Maybe it's easier to breathe on the right side now. And if you're standing in front of your camera, you may even be able to see that your right side is dropped. So I can see on my body, this is the side that I work. Can you see the difference, Allison? Yeah. Okay, and I can see that on, I'm guessing your side closest to me is the side you worked, yeah. Okay, so let's do the other side. So we're going to start by placing the ball under the arch of your foot. If you're doing the massage, you're massaging the arch of your foot. So start by doing that interpretive dance where you're moving through every arch of your body, your ankles, your knees, your hips, your elbows, your shoulders. It's like a match, feeling each one of them like a dome, and you're moving it over the joint. Okay, and then we're going to step off the ball and onto the ball, starting with the big toe, behind the big toe, and then moving down the foot. So you're massaging the balls of the feet here. And we'll do this 3 times for those of you working with the balls. And then step the ball just behind the big toe ball joint at the front of the inside arch. And then at the back of the inside arch. And then at the middle of the outside arch. And then at the front of the heel. And you're going to wiggle it back and forth. And then you're going to move the whole ball side to side as you move it to the back of your heel. And then you're fanning it for the heel up to the big toe, second, third, fourth, and fifth. You can do this for each toe. And then arch down the ball of the foot. You do an Instagram story for me. And then scribble all over the bottom of your foot. And then you're going to check in and see how it feels. From side to side now, you're going to see if it feels more even, if your body feels more whole side to side. And if there's more ease in your body, if it's easier to breathe. Okay. And then what we're going to do from here is we're going to move down onto our foam rollers. And if you don't have a foam roller, you're going to go into some cat-cow to do some releasing of your spine. Right. Okay. That wants to be by my head, right? So I can hear. Okay, perfect. All right. So you're on your roller, and your hands are resting, your forearms are resting on the side. You're in cat-cow, you're just doing some gentle cats. The idea is to release your spine and really focus on releasing your back. What we're going to do here, if you're on the foam roller, you're just going to slowly roll to one side a little bit, then slowly roll a little bit to the other side. Just moving the spine off the roller a little bit. So as you roll to the left, you can feel the right side of the spine getting that massage. As you roll to the right, you feel the left side of the spine getting that massage. Just small movements. And then you're going to take your arms up at that steeple mudra. So you know the Bong Girl mudra? Yeah, that's right. And take your feet wider on your mat. So you've got a nice wide base. And then you go for a wider roll. So now you're rolling all the way to your shoulders and all the way over to your other shoulder. So your arms are straight up in the air. And you're going for a wider roll. Across from one shoulder to the other. And it's almost like you're feeling your foam rollers ironing out tension, your upper back, your lower back, all along your spine, your whole back, tension is being ironed out. Okay, and then from here, what we're going to do is you're going to take that foam roller and you're going to turn it laterally, horizontally. So if you're doing those cat-cows because you didn't have a foam roller, what you're going to do is lie on your back and do a figure 4 stretch. And if you do have the foam roller, you're actually going to sit up on the foam roller. So this is slightly different than how I show you to do it on the video that we have on the membership community. It gives a little bit more pressure through the foam roller. So you're sitting up on it and you've got your hands posted behind it. That's right. And then you cross your left ankle over the top of your right thigh. So it's just like a little bit more than the way I showed it in the video that you've got in the membership community. And what you're going to do is you're going to lean over to that left butt cheek a bit. And you're going to roll the foam roller back and forth over your left buttocks. And then what you're going to do is go roll side to side. So the foam roller stays still now, and you're rolling side, your body is rolling. That's it. And you can play with, moving where you are on this roller, like moving down a bit and then making that same movement and seeing if it has more impact. So see where it feels like it's giving the best result in your body. And then roll it out again. And you're going to switch sides. So now you're going to cross your right ankle over your left thigh and lean over to that right butt cheek now. And you're just going to roll back and forth on the roller. And then now you leave the roller still and you roll your body back and forth. You can move forward and back a little bit on your roller and find the place of maximum impact on your roller for yourself. Okay, and then what we're going to do is you're going to turn over and we're going to release our forearms. So if you don't have a foam roller, you're going to do some massaging of your forearms now to release your forearms. And for those of us who do have a foam roller, you're going to take the foam roller, you're going to turn your palms, face them up towards the ceiling, and you're just going to roll back and forth on the foam roller to release your forearms. And then turn your pinkies towards the ground so you're releasing the outside of your forearms. And then turn your thumbs towards the ground and release the insides of your forearms. And then if you have a soft squash ball, you're going to pick that up again. We're going to release your hands. And if you don't, you're going to massage your hands, particularly in the places that we're talking about. So you're going to start with the ball underneath the middle of your hand, the base of your thumb, the base of your index finger, middle finger, fourth finger, fifth finger. You're circling under your thumb right now. And then back and forth from the base of your thumb all the way over to that pad at the base of your, way underneath your baby finger. So go back and forth between those 2 points. And then you're drawing lines all the way from the tip of your thumb up your forearm, tip of your pointer finger up your forearm, down each finger. And do that down each finger, we'll do 3 times. And then scribble on your hand. And then use your other hand and take the ball along the top of your hand as well. And then let's do your other hand. So place the ball in the center of your hand, at the base of your thumb, base of your index finger, middle, ring finger, and baby finger. Circle the base of your thumb. And over to the bottom of your hand where your pinky is. And then drawing that straight line from the tops of your fingers all the way up your forearms. We'll do each hand 3 times, each finger 3 times. Okay, and then scribble on the bottom of your hand, your left hand, and then use your right hand to go over the top of your hand. Okay. Now, for those of you who don't have a foam roller, you're going to release your upper back now. You can do this by doing cat pose on your forearms. A little bit of eagle's arms would work well too. So you can do a bit of both while we're doing this last little piece here. So those of you who do have a foam roller, you're going to place the foam roller at the very top of your upper back. We're going to do the upper back rehydration series now. Taking your hands behind your head, putting the foam roller in the very top of your upper back. And you're just going to go back and forth there. Just a little tiny movements here. And then your elbows go side to side like a steering wheel, and your whole upper back goes side to side. Then you move down the foam roller a little bit, and you go back and forth a titch. And side to side like a steering wheel. And again, down a little bit. Side to side. Back and forth. And side to side. Check my chat for me.
You what?
The chat window. And then what you're going to do is go side to side, so you're rolling all the way from one side to the other. There's a chat window. Can you check and see what it says?
Oh. Just a chat window had to be stopped because they stated our SCCA.
Oh. Here I am thinking somebody's having major difficulties. So what you're doing right now is you're rolling underneath your armpits. All the way across your upper back from one side to the other, and your elbows actually touching the ground. And then the last thing you're going to do is just roll all the way from the top of your upper back all the way down to the base of your ribs. And then just sweep it back up, and we'll do it again. So do that a few times, so just sweep it out. Okay, and then have a drink of water and get yourself into your reclined somatic meditation position. So take a couple of minutes, get yourself set up. I'm going to have a drink of water and get myself set up lying down too today, and we'll come back together for meditation here. Usually on the story, right?
That's what it sounds going to be close to.
Seems like story. And then on that black swing where I am that time.
What's your market?
But I need it swing right after you've done the same. I'll need it swing the time.
It's a hunting video now.
Okay, so you're lying on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, your hands are on your belly, your elbows are resting heavy on the ground. And just take a moment now to feel the support of the earth underneath you. And also to notice what it feels like to arrive here now on your mat. What it feels like to release and surrender to the earth, to let go of the gripping and the holding, to receive the support of the earth, to let go into gravity, to surrender and let go. Feeling the points of contact between yourself and the ground, your 2 feet, your 2 buttocks, your 2 elbows, your shoulder blades, and your head. And just notice what this connection is like right now. After we spent that time prior to your practice, releasing your fascia, releasing all that gripping, releasing the holding. Just notice if the connection between yourself and the earth feels any different right now. And then open your awareness into your feet, and particularly your big toes. And become aware of the tension, the holding on, all the ways that there's gripping. And then also notice that when that awareness opens, that there's a release, a dissolving of the holding, and the letting go that begins to happen. And then opening your awareness into your second toes on both sides, on both feet. Noticing and feeling what's present here. When you open your awareness into your second toes, there may be tension in other parts of your body that present themselves, and that's fine. You can follow that awareness. You notice how the tension in the second toe wants to unwind and release and begin to let go. Then opening your awareness to your third toes, both feet. Noticing that the experience in each toe is unique, different, and yet there's probably some tension, maybe some numbness, some tingling, some kind of holding on happening in each foot. The third toe, feeling the underside, the connection between the toe and the foot, the toenail, the bone. Just opening and being patient to see what your body is presenting to you today. Notice when you bring the light of awareness to your third toes, that things shift and change. The tension doesn't stay the same. And as you're releasing tension in your toes, you may feel other parts of your body let go. Your entire body is mapped out through your feet. The meridians of your entire body is mapped out through your feet. And so as you spend this time in your feet, you're also releasing your entire body. Opening to the somatic experience of your fourth toes. What tension do your fourth toes want to reveal to you today? Feeling the tension and following the release. And finally, the baby toe, the fifth toe. Feeling all the ways that baby toe is retracted and pulled back, feeling misformed. Letting those baby toes elongate and release, become more fully who they are. And gradually opening your awareness into the ball of your foot. Filling into all the layers through the bones and the tissues, the skin. Let tension reveal itself to you. And also notice the way tension just drains out of the ball of your foot and into the earth. And then opening your awareness into the arch of your foot. Feeling from the instep, the outside edge of your foot, and all the way up into the roof of your foot. And then finally your ankles and your heels. Feeling the tension in the ankle bones, the Achilles, heel bone, the dense layers of the heel. And then going back and scanning your whole foot, opening to any remaining pockets of tension. Allowing it to just dissolve down through your foot and into the earth. Then opening your awareness into your lower legs. Noticing what sensations are present from your shin bone to your shins. The layers of muscle around the calves. The fibula, the bone in your lower legs. The knees. Through the ankles. Just feeling that tension flow down like a river through your lower leg, through your ankles, through your feet. And then feeling the connection between your buttocks and the earth. Noticing for any gripping or holding. Letting go of the gripping and the holding. And opening your awareness to the tension from your knees all the way down through your hip bones, the top of your femur bone, your quads, your hamstrings, your inner thighs, your outer thighs. Just feeling that river of tension run down through your hip joints, through your buttocks, and into the earth. And then feeling into the bones of the pelvis themselves. The pelvic bowl, the pivot bone, the tailbone, the sacrum. Letting that tension from the sides of the hips, the pelvic floor, the perineum, the genitals, the anus, all of that just drains down through your buttocks and into the earth. Now notice your rib cage resting heavy on the ground. And allow your entire rib cage to soften. And the sides of the ribs, the fronts of your ribs, the base of your lungs. Opening your awareness into the experience of your organ body, your abdominal wall, your belly. Notice the tension and the gripping, the holding. And just keep letting go. Keep letting tension dissolve and release. Down through the layers of your torso, through your rib cage and into the earth. And then starting to feel your shoulder blades on the ground. Let that connection between the earth and the ground merge. The shoulder blades and the earth become one. All the tension in the shoulder blades release. You feel up through the layers of your upper torso, the shoulder blades, the collarbones, the upper parts of the lungs. The tension dissolves. Keep opening into the tension in your shoulder joints, up through your neck and your jaw, and let that release down through your upper arms, through your elbows and into the earth. Then the tension in your hands and your wrists goes down through your forearms, through your elbows and into the earth. And finally, your head, opening your experience, your somatically felt experience into your head. Feeling the tension along your scalp, the bones of your skull, the backs of your eye sockets, your eyebrows, your cheekbones. In your brain. And then just rest in the somatic felt sense of your body. And then staying very connected to your internal felt sense of your body. You're going to slowly make your way up to your seated position. My phone's one more time. Okay, so give yourself time to come back to your body in your seated meditation and feel your connection with the earth, particularly through your pelvic floor and your cushion. Open into your felt sense of the earth underneath you. And then you'll lengthen up through your spine, from the base of your spine, all the way up through, lengthening up through the back of your head, drawing your ears back over your shoulders, up through the crown of your head. Feeling that opening through the back of your neck. The space between your teeth and your tongue will float in your mouth. And let the energy of your eyes go towards the backs of your eyes. And then just spend a minute or two. You're going to just rock a little bit forward, a little bit back. And you're looking for that space of opening, especially along the spine. On the back of the spine on the inside of your body, call it the central channel. And then side to side, same thing. You feel it when it starts to close off and then it starts to open up again. You want to feel that place of opening, that once you find that place where it opens up, you can come into stillness. And let your attention rest on your lower belly, about 3 finger widths below your navel, 2 finger widths behind that. The space right in the center of your pelvis between your perineum and your navel. And notice as you come into this place of stillness that there's a sense of your breath coming into your lower belly here. And as you begin to notice the way your breath comes into your lower belly, you may notice it has a trajectory as well. It has a kind of directionality to it. That it comes into your lower belly on your inhalation, and it also moves up the central channel. So this isn't something you have to make happen. This is something that happens all of its own accord as you are breathing. As you sit in meditation, you may need to make little micro adjustments from the inside, little internal adjustments to your posture to stay connected with the central channel. Maybe a lengthening up through the back of your head, a softening of your jaw. And know that you will be distracted and that it's not a problem. The practice is simply to come back to your breath. Notice your breath coming into your lower belly. And feel how it moves up the central channel. when your mind wanders, because it will wander, just how our minds work. It's not a problem. We'll just come back to our breathing. Notice our breath coming into our lower belly, traveling up the central channel. Notice when you go into thinking, there tends to be slight postural changes, and you can make those micro adjustments internally, lengthening up through the back of your head, drawing your ears back over your shoulders, opening up to the back of your neck. These will all bring you back into alignment, back to where we're placing our attention. And our breath coming into our lower belly, feeling our breath moving up our central channel. So you're paying attention to what's happening and noting what's needed to place your attention where your attention's being asked to be placed. So maybe there's efforting and tension creeping in. And so you notice where that efforting is happening, where the tension is creeping in, and you surrender that, you let that go, you find ease in your body again, and you come back to your breath in your lower belly. So reflect back on your practice now, both the seated meditation, the reclined somatic meditation, the parts where we did the foam rolling or the massaging, some of the yoga poses that we did, all the way back to coming together today. And notice what stands out to you, what mind states, what insights come forward to you about what shows up when you come to practice. Our habitual patterns become more clear in this setting. The ways we habitually react, our impulsiveness, they show up again and again on our meditation cushions, in our reclined somatic meditation, in the ways we react to being told what to do by another person. And so just notice if there's any awareness or insight that arose for you out of your practice today about that kind of habitual response that shows up for you, the impulsiveness that shows up for you. Because in a moment, I'm going to give you the opportunity to speak about that in our circle. And in order that each person has an opportunity to share their own wisdom and insights today, I'll just ask that you speak once and then allow the time for each person to be heard so that they can have time to share their own wisdom and insight. So once you've shared your insight, practice the art of listening, because we share a lot of commonalities and experiences, and quite often what other people are going to share about their insights probably has some overlap in your experience as well. And if you're a person that tends not to share your experiences, I encourage you to find the courage within you to come forward and to speak about your experience, because we have more similarities than differences. And so when you share your experience, we can all learn from them together. Okay, so let's start to transition back to our circle here. Okay. So, any insights for you arise around the kind of habitual responses that come up for you when there's that space? You know, the way we respond in our practice are the same ways that we habitually respond in our day-to-day lives. And when we come to our yoga mats and our meditation cushions in particular, where there's all that space, we get to see it again and again. Those patterns show up repetitively. And so it allows us to have some insight around them. So out of curiosity, was there any insight around that today? Sometimes they can be so mundane, they can not seem worth mentioning. So for me today, the habitual response was, one of the things that I notice when I sit in meditation is that I'll go into thinking about the past. And one thing I've noticed recently is that my meditation practice has lightened up quite a bit. It's not quite a serious affair right now. And today in my practice, I was thinking, I couldn't stop thinking about something that Trinity and I did yesterday. And we were watching this conspiracy theory video. I always say, oh, what are you watching on YouTube right now? And she was sharing this conspiracy theory video with me. And I couldn't stop thinking about this one part of this conspiracy video. I'm not really sure what it was, a conspiracy theory, but anyway. Now, I'm sorry I'm going to share this with you because now it'll be stuck in all your minds now too. It was this guy who would sit and live stream himself for 4 hours at a time staring at a video camera. And I think maybe why it was so disturbing or kind of stuck with me is it was almost like he was meditating, but I don't know, he wasn't. I don't think he really was. He was sitting in a meditation position, but for 4 hours and staring at the video camera like this. So, I don't know. That was with me today.
Seems a little creepy.
It was really creepy. I should try and find it for you guys to show you how creepy it was. The thing that I would notice, though, when I would go into thinking about it was that my posture would change, and then there would be that need for that kind of readjustment.
For me, it was my running to-do list. I was thinking about everything I have to do, and it just kept on coming up into my head, and I'd breathe and try to let that go, but it's a running loop. It's a running loop right now. So
yeah.
But that comes up a lot, actually, when I'm meditating. That comes up a lot.
Me too. That's a very interesting one that comes up when you meditate is the to-do list. And it says something about our personalities, right? About ourselves and where our mind's at, right? And the constant planning that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a habitual, impulsive response to be in that kind of planning mode. Mm-hmm. And, when we're meditating, we're just choosing to be somewhere else besides planning. So when, Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche says every mind state is workable, when that planning mind comes up, we can simply open to it well, there's planning. I know planning well. This is a mind state I'm very familiar with. And we can choose to come back to placing our attention where we're placing our attention. And it's not really something we really need to take personally. We can just recognize it as a kind of knee-jerk reaction, habitual response, and know that we've chosen to do something differently with our time right now.
Well, I have trouble keeping the empty space, just focusing on the breathing.
Mm-hmm.
I start out at the beginning of meditation always with just a lot of chatter. And I get that calmed down. It's especially intense when I'm sitting up because I can go into relaxation when I'm lying down.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm sitting up, I come back to it. But then I've got the chatter going, but I start to entertain myself. So I'm imagining that I'm walking through beads or having these things come up. So I'm still filling the space. Or I'm looking over a hill and there's a village with lights on. These thoughts just come to me. And I'm like, no, empty space, concentrate on your breathing. So I consider it a half win if I just get the chatter monkey brain stopped and can focus on something soothing and relaxing.
So that's an interesting one, right? From the perspective of what we're talking about today, which is that impulsiveness to entertain ourselves or give our minds something to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, that's a kind of knee-jerk reaction that we have, right? That we always need to be doing something or occupying our mind in some way. And here again, this is a slow and developmental process. And so we're slowly training our mind to focus on space, empty space. And it is a challenge. It is a challenge for sure. But it's something that we can train in doing. Yeah. And the chatter is going to happen. And it's not a problem because that's what our brains do. They think. So we think, the thinking's happening, and then we come back to the breath in the belly. The thinking happens again. We come back to the breath in the belly because the object of our attention here is the breath in our belly. And if we come back, like, my meditation teacher, Neil, says, if we have to come back like 1,000,000 times, then, I love how he says, well, aren't you lucky? You just had the best meditation session ever because you really trained your muscle in getting strong today. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal.
I will try to speak, but I don't know if it comes over to you in delays or not, because the internet connection here is very, very unstable.
Seems good right now.
Okay. So I take that moment. Tell is also, and I try to tell myself, I am here, I am present. I am here, I am present. I tried that out lately to maybe then calm the chatter a little bit. It's so important because I even noticed that when I tell my brain to say, I'm here and present, I go off on another plane.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the multitasking that I'm doing every day, so I also keep that in my meditation. Nonetheless, today there is something that has gotten loose, and it's very strange for me right now. I feel it just above my belly button on the right side, and it's something that opened, and I wonder what it is. I feel rather emotional right now, and I just I will try to, after a good shower, what maybe I can wash it out. The next meditation to see what loosened up there, but I can say that there's a lot of loosening.
I think we got the gist of that. It sounds like you're feeling like you're in a vulnerable place right now. You're feeling a little vulnerable. Yeah. 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 You know, it's really interesting, isn't it? You know, reflecting on the kind of commonalities between Betsy's experience and Sadrine's experience, that this trusting and resting in this wide open space is actually an act of courage, isn't it? Because it's so different from what we experience in our day-to-day lives. You know, we're so busy occupying ourselves, distracting ourselves, staying busy, entertaining ourselves. And when we do a practice like this, we're opening into this space where our body is going to show us what's happening, right? And that can be like funny. That can be joyful. And there can be times when it's, you know, this morning I spoke about, you know, in my meditation practice, just yesterday there was you know, in the, you know, the looking back, a kind of regret over how I treated somebody, and then a huge wave of, it wasn't quite sadness, but a real tenderness and that feeling, you know. So there's an openness to feel whatever is arising, and yeah, that's a vulnerable place. That's a more vulnerable place, for sure. This weekend we went to an observatory where you can observe the stars, and we heard a lecture on what scientists understand about astronomy and galaxies and universes and everything right now. And what really stood out to me is that they've studied stars and galaxies, but they know nothing about the space around it, the dark matter, the dark energy. Basically, the lecturer said, we know nothing about this. And I was like, wow, that's an incredible analogy for our own human experience of space, you know, and of how we, you know, it's like that's our experience of the space around galaxies and the universe. But that's our own personal experience of space as well. We pretty much don't have a very good grasp on it. So that's okay too. It's a slow developmental process, and we have the tools to open up into it. And when we do, there's so much more clarity that is available to you, about your life and the way you can interact with those that you're in relationship with. It's really quite amazing. Any questions about this? I do know we need to let Sadrine get off and get to work, but I want to make sure I field any questions, if there's any questions, before we say goodbye for today. All right, so thank you for your practice, and I will be seeing you on the forum, and I will see you next week here. Namaste.
Namaste.